Welcome, children, parents, grandparents. My namaskar. Very special pronoun. Today we are going to talk about and share a few of the most controversial and yet the father of the country, most misunderstood, often misquoted, Mahatma Gandhi. Exactly 152 years ago, Mahatma Gandhi was born in Porbandar. When he was about 8 and 9 years of age, his village had total no rain for almost 2 years. The earth had cracked up, nothing was growing, people were starving. The entire community of the village, they all got down to the big ground, which was actually a farming field, went down to the ground and did special yagna. And before going, the word had gone around that we are going to go down and pray tomorrow morning, early in the morning, 6 o'clock, and everybody must come and pray. All put together, entire village force landed up into the field. And there's this 8-year-old boy who also went there to pray. Everybody was looking at him. Why was he looking at this 8-year-old boy? You know why? Because he was the only one who was carrying an umbrella. Everybody was laughing at him. Why are you carrying an umbrella? And this boy said, why? We are going to pray for rain, isn't it? And they said, yes. He said, it's going to rain. What are we going to do when it rains? We'll get soaking wet. So I'm carrying an umbrella. Everybody laughed at him. And you know what, dear children, my young parents? That it did rain. And they all say, if it did rain, that rain, if it was because of the prayer, it was because of that one boy's prayer who believed in his prayer. Mahatma Gandhi was famous for two particular things. One is non-violence, ahimsa. And he's generally known and told to everybody for his truth and fearlessness. His non-violence, his fearlessness are the two principles along with the truth and love. Mahatma Gandhi became the father of the country. You know something? He talked about so intensely about the same Advaita Vedanta what we talk about, the Upanishads, the Bhagavad-Gita. You'd be amazed to hear that Mahatma Gandhi had gone up to London to study law. And when he was studying law, his British counterpart, particularly people like Tolstoy, they all wanted to know about Bhagavad-Gita. And they asked the Indian boys studying, tell us about Bhagavad-Gita. Mahatma Gandhi, children started studying Bhagavad-Gita for the first time in London, in English language, just to explain to his friends. And he said, I loved reading it so much that I couldn't stop. And Amartya Sen, somewhere around about a few years ago, there was a session in Harvard. He was conducting the session in economics. And he made a statement in which a few of the monks was also attending. One of them is monk Swami Sri Sarvapriyananda. On his own words, he said, I went and requested him to attend, though he wasn't in Harvard to do study of the economics, but he requested. Amartya Sen, Nobel laureate, is giving a talk. Amartya Sen kindly allowed him, smilingly, very great gentleman. Amartya Sen is the only one who had talked about when Atal Bihari Vajpayee, slightly deviating for a second, but it's appropriate and it's coming to my mind to share with you. Atal Bihari Vajpayee, Prime Minister, asked him, What is it that I need to do to change the country's economy and make everybody rich? Make everybody rich. Atal Bihari Vajpayee, Advani was his home minister. Amartya Sen was called post-Nobel Prize to commemorate with his Padma Bhushan. And Atal Bihari Vajpayee was told by Amartya Sen, yes, Prime Minister, education. He said, okay, Amartya, give me 3 points. First is education. What second? He said, sir, education. He said, no, I have understood education is the first point. What's the second one? He said, education. Atal Bihari laughed and he said, all right, Amartya, education. What's the third point? He said, education. This Amartya Sen had said, education is what you and I are in. Education is to open up, express that divine power from within into the world. And here Amartya Sen, about a few years ago, in Harvard, before he passed away, he was giving a talk and he made a comment which Sarvapriyananda said we all objected to it, because he said Mahatma Gandhi followed Bhagavad-Gita, and this is why I said it is controversial. Many people do not agree with him and it is often quoted and misunderstood. He said, how can it be? Bhagavad-Gita is a book on violence and warfare. How can Mahatma Gandhi talk about ahimsa learning Bhagavad-Gita? Mahatma Gandhi said that he had studied Jesus in the Sermon on the Mount, and he said, whenever I was in trouble and turmoil and my soul was with confusion, I read Sermon on the Mount, but I was more solaced, I was more in peace. When I could refer to Bhagavad-Gita, when I could refer to Upanishads, Vedanta. And here, Bhagavad-Gita was not really understood by Amartya Sen the way he had quoted it. How can Mahatma Gandhi, who talks about ahimsa, learns from Bhagavad-Gita, which is a book on violence? It is not on violence. Touching about Bhagavad-Gita, it is called the Moksha Shastra. And what did Mahatma Gandhi say? He said, 30 years of my politics. I have taken up politics, I have taken up religion. What is Mahatma Gandhi saying? He is saying politics is for the betterment of the humanity, for the human being. And he said, so is religion. And I couple both of them, politics and religion, and I practice both. In my 30 years of practice, I wanted moksha, enlightenment, through the politics, through the practice of the religion. Mahatma Gandhi was very famous for his satyagraha. And Martin Luther King, he was a staunch follower of Mahatma Gandhi. And when this statement was given to him, Mahatma Gandhi had said that through the Bhagavad-Gita, I understand that ahimsa is to be followed, and against apathy, against non-reaction to a situation, it is better to be violent than apathy, not doing anything. Just be an observant. It is better, if you can't follow ahimsa, follow at least himsa with a purpose and the direction, than do nothing. So people ask Martin Luther King, you follow him, but he is talking about violence is better than non-action. How do you say that? Martin Luther King explained it beautifully. He said, this is not what Gandhi had meant. Gandhi had meant ahimsa is the principal path. But when you weigh it against no ahimsa, you're not doing anything. And when you don't want to do anything and be just a watcher and passerby, standing by with the hands folded in non-action, better is action with himsa, with violence. Because the goal is betterment of the humanity. Martin Luther King was a great follower Recently, you'll be surprised, in New York Library, there is a very famous jazz philosopher, these days latest jazz philosopher, and his name is Slavoj Žižek. Slavoj Žižek. You can Google him. And you can also see that Martin Luther King, you can Google his opinion on Gandhi, what I mentioned just now. Žižek, a great philosopher, he speaks some fantastic outlandish words and then he goes ahead beautifully explains. Very powerful speaker, very great philosopher, but he's also a jazz specialist. One of the very rare jazz as well as philosophy. Slavoj Žižek says in his talk, I quote, Mahatma Gandhi was more violent than Hitler. And there was some Indian monk and the Indian lady sitting there and they all had a heart attack. They say Mahatma Gandhi is more violent than Hitler? And then Žižek explained it beautifully. He said, see, what did Hitler do? Hitler created, massacred millions, lakhs of people, but at the end of it, the world returned to the same system of operation, same monarchy, same autocracy, same military forces, power, muscle, same people, poverty, same suffering continued thereafter too. But look at Mahatma Gandhi. What did he do? He did through his non-violent satyagraha. He uprooted the British colonialism. And this colonialism was not only uprooted from India, it was uprooted from the world. And the entire system of the British system crumbled. Mahatma Gandhi changed with his ahimsa the entire world. And this is where my dear children, my friends, my dear young parents and grandparents, the message of the father of the country is truth, is purity. And that is how what came into Ashoka Stamba from Mundaka Upanishad. Malviya is the person who was follower of that and talked about it. Satyameva Jayate. Truth will always win. Truth, ahimsa. Look carefully. What did it do? It got us independence. From 16th century, under oppression, 326 BC, Alexander the Great attacked India. Why? Because we were the golden bowl of the universe. Sone ka chidiya. Children, have you heard of that? We were the richest in the world. And it continued till 1833. Lord Macaulay was sent by the Queen of England. Go to India and study. England has been in India since 16th century. 1650. East India Company was formed to start progressing towards capturing India. But they could not till 1833. Lord Macaulay came to study and went back in 1835 and gave a presentation to the British monarchy, the British Parliament, to the Queen. Your Honor, we cannot capture India. She said, what? But you're robbing India for so long. He said, yes, but that's with a gunpoint and only pockets. We cannot rule India. She said, why? Explain. He said, can you rule people such as Shankaracharya, Vivekananda, Paramahansa, and people of such high moral fibers? You cannot rule them with bullets. She said, then what should you do? No chance? He said, there isn't one. And this is what was because of Lord Macaulay's strategy. He said, change the country's education system, break the backbone of India by breaking them to understand that what is Indian, what is Vedanta, what is given in Bhagavad-Gita and Upanishad is not good. What is good is English. What is good in Shakespeare and Shelley and Keith. You break the backbone and they will think anything that is foreign is good. And their moral fiber will be broken and they will become easily to capture. Look at it. You and I have to move around in this suit today. Why? Because we have to look smart. Everybody around is Western educated and cool Indian. We are all cool Westerners. But look at that. Satyagraha, non-violence, fasting, non-eating, the powerful force, non-speaking. There may be slogans, but silence, violence, non-eating, non-performing, without breaking down the performance to break down the country. Meaning, I am not going to become non-productive, but I shall do it silently. Salt march. Shall not take salt. Gandhi started Khadi. Another famous march. His charkha. He started spinning the wheel. And with which, today also you notice how powerfully the Indian Khadi is winning. It doesn't mean that the other things are not important. We go ahead today, want to buy everything foreign. We are not saying don't buy English or American or German or Japanese or Chinese make. All we are trying to say, go ahead, experience the world, enjoy the world, buy anything, but don't forget the products of Mother India. And today, India is marching ahead. As it is told, India by 2024 to 2028 will become a superpower ahead of Chinese economy, ahead of American economy. So champion, boys and girls, you and the youngsters of the world today, young parents, are going to the backbone making India the number one force, the conqueror. And I'm remembering on Gandhi's birthday, which is today, 2021, 2nd of October. I have one or two more points. Gandhi is another very powerful point for aparigraha. Aparigraha is one of the principles of Patanjali Yoga Sutra. Ayama and Niyama starts with Satya, Ahimsa, Brahmacharya, Aparigraha, non-hoarding. Have you noticed? When the COVID-19 thing started, everybody started buying and buying and buying and hoarding and hoarding and hoarding. Stock it up. Why? I must have when there is nothing. Now, he says share it with everyone. And when you share it with everyone, whether it is love, whether it is knowledge, whether it is money, whether it is food, whether it is your wisdom, knowledge, your company, it will come back to you manifold and non-hoarding. Gandhi's points talked about very famously dieting. Did you know that Gandhi has written books? It takes 2 cupboard filled. It is exactly 100 volume. Exact number is 98. Can you imagine? He's written such thick books, 98 of them, and he spent a lot of time in writing books on diet, good food, good diet. Did you know that he had gone down to meet Swami Vivekananda when he was 20, Mahatma Gandhi was 20 years old, with Motilal Nehru, father of Jawaharlal Nehru, in Velur Math. Unfortunately, at that time, Vivekananda was not too well. He could not meet him. And 20 years later, Gandhi visited Velur Math again. Did you know he met Paramahansa Yogananda? You will see it in autobiography with a picture. And he showed keenness and interest in learning Kriya Yoga. Paramahansa Yogananda said that I loved his spirit of inquiry. These are the exact words. Spirit of inquiry and open-mindedness to learn Kriya Yoga. Just see what a magnificent character. From a simple village and went on to today the world over. Nelson Mandela, South African, the another Nobel laureate, he said it is the Mahatma Gandhi's principle which empowered me to do what I have done. The children, the moral, the message of today is follow truth. The truth will take you to where nothing else can go, towards success, towards achievement, towards goal of whatever. Follow that. It doesn't mean become a doormat. Non-violence doesn't mean doormat. Non-violence does mean that if somebody is trying to be violent with you, you reciprocate by non-violence, but opposing him. It is not a fist for a fist for a fist, boxing for a boxing, slap for a slap, eye for an eye, limb for a limb. Then soon enough, everybody will be eyeless, limbless. Ahimsa is opposing. The bullets of the Britishers were opposed by the powerful Indian freedom fighters, but with non-violence, satyagraha, non-eating, fasting, masses and masses. Face the bullet bravely. Eventually, you and I enjoying that independence. You know, children, you and I are going to travel around the world. You will go around the world. You have gone around the world. Any country you go down, you will find what is actually being a second class or a third class citizen. Some countries, Indians are treated as third class citizens. Some countries, second class. India is the only country where you are first class citizen. You will understand the power of being with the motherland. Follow truth, follow purity. I will end it with very simple 4 principles. Always first you. Selflessness than selfishness. Second, lot of love for everyone. Third, honor of inquiry. Fourth, being silent, being still. Fifth, follow the truth. And sixth is the purity. Follow these principles as much as you can. Just watch. Everything that you have in your mind, everything that you have in your heart, the desires will be fulfilled. And what will come over you, you know what is the power? It's fearlessness. You'll be fearless. Nothing at all face you. I wish you good luck and may the divine blessings shower upon you with whatever you want and wish may come upon you. And India is shooting ahead with you leading. I wish you good luck.